Hello, hello. Good morning, team. Morning, folks. Good to see you. Hey, Melinda, Alison, Tim. Good to see a few of the early birds on online. Good to see you. Donna, thanks for joining. I hope you're all awesome and well. Wherever you are, let us know. Let us know. Where are you? What are you up to? It's a wonderful Wednesday. Is that what we say? Marvellous Monday, terrific Tuesday, wonderful Wednesday, thankful Thursday, fantastic Friday. Anyway, there we go. Halfway through the week, 1st of Feb, pinching a punch for the first day of the month. Brendan, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Good to see everyone jumping on now while everyone is just getting themselves sorted, maybe even grabbing a coffee. Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats. Jason Witten's my name. Most of you know that, but if you don't, there it is on the screen. Big shout out to anyone who's new. If you're new, that's awesome. Might have joined our coaching and mentoring program just recently, or you might have found us on the socials. Or you might be coming back. Hey, good morning, Facebook user, wherever you are. Whoever you are, you're behind the private Facebook group gate there, so I can't see your name, but good to see you. Yeah, everything's well. I had a good break, had a good holiday, and it's time to get back at it. 2023, here we are, loud and proud, and plenty to talk about already. Only a month in the year of 23 when it comes to property investing. The big thing on everyone's mind, we sort of had a chat the other day, is finance, right? Finance. We all know that finance is, for most of us, 99.9% of us, unless you, got plenty of cash under the pillow, under the mattress at home, then you're going to need to qualify for finance continuously into the future to build your property portfolio. Hey, Adam. Good to see you. And I've been investing 25 plus years. Cliff's yeah, Brendan. Yeah, well, there you go. Well, they don't get much attention unless they be dramatic, do they? This media mob. But let's do a little deep dive today. I was thinking, all right, well, let's talk about it. Let's be practical, pragmatic about finance. What happens in the finance world, in the property world. There's cycles. It's easier to get sometimes. It's harder to get sometimes. Not only does the finance market, the property market, the finance market move at different times, so do you. Your financial situation improves or sometimes is not so great. And how do we, make the most of where we are if we want to keep moving forward, building our property portfolio? That's what I thought we'd sort of have a bit of a conversation about today, a bit of a chat, and see if we couldn't work a few things out. So let's dive into it, and let's get everyone a little bit involved in the chat. What are the two things? There's two things in the world of finance, and you might hear us talk about them often. There are two things that we need to sort of understand. Two parts to finance when it comes to us qualifying for a loan and getting some money from a lender. All right, so there's two bits to it. And chuck it in the chat if you think you know what it is. So let's talk about this. All right, first bit is our deposit. All right, our deposit, yep, Lauren's right onto it, loan to value ratio, which is the deposit. Yep, and serviceability. Tim, debt to income and serviceability. Serviceability, yes. So deposit in the world of lending, and then our income, right, in the world of lending. So two parts to it, and Lauren nailed it on the head. Deposit, all right, loan to value ratio. Deposit in the world of lending, and you'll hear many finance professionals or good ones talk about this when it comes to, getting a loan. How do I get a loan? What do I need to understand? High level, and then we'll drill into this, folks. Deposit equals how much cash you got, and we call this a conversation of buying power, okay? It's a very easy one. So we can all together, I'm going to shift this part down, together work this out this morning. Let's do some quick math if you've got your brain functioning, or your iPhone or whatever it is. Get your calculator out. Buying power. It's very easy, very simple when it comes to this working out this buying power. All right, your deposit, so dollars, okay, whatever those dollars are. Let's just say it's $100,000 that you have in equity or cash or a combination of both that you can put towards the deposit of a property. And if you're going to use that as your deposit, most of us, and this is an important one too, this is an important one, most of us understand that forms a function of not only our deposit, but some costs along the way, right? Tell me in the chat, what costs other than your deposit would you need to, in every state of Australia, budget for? A little bit different now, a little bit interesting in New South Wales. But what do you got to budget for up front as a cost? What are the main costs as we go? So we got our deposit and some costs here. Deposit, what percentage are you putting down? A 10% deposit, a 15% deposit, a 20% deposit, right? Okay, how much cash is in there? And costs usually are things like the main cost. Yep, boom, you're on it, Tim. Is stamp duty, right? Okay, now, I go off on a little tangent here. Stamp duty was meant to be gotten rid of when we brought in GST, and those lying politicians backflipped. Anyway, there we go. There's nothing we can do about that, unfortunately. Well, there probably is. Vote for better politicians, but it's a bit skinny out there anyway. But anyway, that's not my conversation today. Anyway, let's talk about this. So stamp duty and costs. Yep. Land tax, not up front, Lauren, but ongoing. Yes. Solicitor, those sorts of things. So, what I always say when you're budgeting, your buying power and your deposit plus costs, do a rough one of 5%, whatever it is. So that would equal, okay, 15% in here, 20%, and then this would equal obviously 25%. As we go along. Now, if we're looking at our loan to value ratio, like Lauren was saying a moment ago, that's kind of like 90%, 85%, and 80%. Okay? So, now some of you guys saying, look, this is pretty basic, Jason. Yep, blah, blah, blah. But stick with me because we're going to get to the income and servicing bit in a minute, which is where we can make the most impact in borrowing. Because what I see right now in the majority of property investors in Oz today, we've had a significant amount of capital growth, many of us. If you've owned property and you've owned it for more than a few years, then, you're up. You're up pretty well. But what's the problem? We've got a lot of equity, but tell me in the chat what the problem is. Millions and millions and millions and gazillions of equity, right? There's gazillions. We just did an analysis on all of you guys, our clients, our mentoring clients. If you filled out your PFS in our system, we got all of your properties with the right addresses digitally. Hey, Jeff, how are you, mate? We got them all valued for you, desktop valuations. And interestingly enough, you guys are sitting on close to $1 billion of usable equity. You're all sitting on $1 billion of usable equity at 80%. So if you did the math on that, there's probably another billion up to 100%. Anyway, yep, no leverage, right? You can't get at it. Your equity's locked away, Brendan. Exactly. Anyway, I'm getting off target here. I've got to stay on track. Stay on track, Jason. Get it out. Anyway, the point is, if we're doing the math here, folks, on our buying power, which is based on how much money you got and what loan to value ratio you're going to put in. Now, just a quick one, just a side note, the sweet spot for most of you when you're borrowing to begin with is 88%. Why is it 88% or 89%? Tell me that in the chat. One or two of you should know this. There's a sweet spot because when you hit 90%, there's something that kicks in pretty nastily. It kicks in at 80%, but let's just do that. So put that in the chat for me. So if we do this, we go, right, 100K, right, and we divide that by 15%, right? Down here we go 666,000. Lenders, mortgage insurance. Exactly. Yep, mortgage insurance team. So, under at 80% or under, often you won't have mortgage insurance. 80% or above, it starts to kick in, and then kind of like from 88 to 90%, it sort of ramps up pretty nastily. So, the LMI cliff. So, let's have a look at this. If you're borrowing at 90%, let's call it 88%, right? Let's just do that. 88%. All right, so we've got 100,000 divided by 17% equals 100K. 17% is 588. All right, let's do that. So 588, okay? And then if you do 85%, it's probably not even worth doing 85%. Let's just do 80. 100,000 divided by 20%, okay, is 500K. All right, so there's the difference. Now, what you do, folks, just so you all know, it's your deposit. So if it's 100K divided by the percentage of what you need to put in as a deposit plus cost, and that gives you your number, okay? If you're ever wondering how to do it, calculators are good for this, yeah? Okay, there you go. So, the difference here will be, $88,000. Now, that can be quite significant when it comes to your purchasing of a property, folks. $88,000, you can buy a better property, okay? So, deposit buying power. Now that's all well and good. You've got the deposit, but do you have the income? Do you have the income to be able to qualify for that loan? Okay, do you have the income? And this is where right now in the world of finance in Australia right now, this is where most people are either unsure, a little bit nervous, stuck, equity locked, and not in a good way, Brendan. We didn't unlock the equity and lock in access to it. We've been locked out of it because we've got this equity, but our income hasn't risen yet. So, what's going on there, okay? So, what can we do when it comes to income? That actually equals in the world of finance language, folks. Many of the comments here are saying it, service ability. So serviceability, the ability for you to service that loan based on the lender's rules around, their kind of safety mechanisms for you, okay? So let's have a bit of a look at that, because this is the hard one. This is the complicated one. The above one's pretty straightforward, let's be honest. It's not that complicated, right? Get yourself a deposit and have a look at what loan to value ratio works best, the sweet spot, and find a property that fits in your, nice. And that's what we're talking about in a minute, Alison. There's two levers when it comes to your ability to service. All right, there's two, to A and to B. All right, well, there's two levers. There's two things with serviceability that you can do as a borrower that impacts your ability to borrow based on where you're at. Now, tell me, what do you think they are? When it comes to the world of servicing and the banks are analysing and sort of calculating how much money they're going to lend you and see if you're a good bet or not, what are the two things that you could do, right? Okay, there's just two levers and you can move them one way or another. Boom. Brendan said, right, get some more income, earn more, right? In whatever way, shape that is, earn more, right? Up. Now, this is the interesting thing. How you earn that and what you earn is not all earnings are considered equal. And this is the bloody annoying part with this, right? And boom, Gary, Jeff, talking about that, Brendan as well. Reduce your costs. So reduce your expenses, right? Be efficient as you can. So which one of those, team, which one of those has the most impact and has the most upside for you when it comes to you building your property portfolio? Tell me, which one is limited in capacity and which one's technically unlimited? You can tell me that in the chat. We all know what that is, right? You cannot completely save yourself super wealthy. You can reduce your expenses, and yes, you should. You should be smart about what you're expending in the early days of acquisition, for sure. Income upside. So for most of us, we need to remember, yes, be prudent about your expenses, but always think about the upside of earning, okay? Upside of earning. So let's do a little thing here. Does that make sense? Give me a yes in the chat if all of that makes sense, because I'm going to show you something that's pretty important to understand. Now, this is part of, in the coaching and mentoring program we do, this is part of what we do with, all of our clients. We, spend a lot of time, managing strategic conversations for you as a borrower, for you building a property portfolio, how to maximize the resources that you have and the ability that you've got, time constraints, profession, income, etc., right? So how do you do that? How do we get down to the nitty-gritty of it? Well, let's have a look. This is how the lenders will look at you. I've got Tommy Test in here. I've just got, a single household at this moment in time. We'll just do this as we go along. If you add dependents, they can stop having children. They're expensive. They're not great for your servicing. There you go. So listen, Tommy here is got PAYG income and looking to buy and borrow. Now up here you can see, let's have a look at this stuff here. Up the top here, it shows you which lender might work for Tommy, okay, which is awesome. Certain net monthly service, like debt to income ratios, service cover, blah, blah, blah. There's some really good things in here, and you can go through maximum LVR. All right, we can do a maximum LVR on these things. This is the rules, right? This is kind of the rules of the game when it comes to this lender. See, when we drill down into it, it's like, yes, on the surface, they're going to lend me the most money, but maybe I need a 90% LVR I live overseas or something, right? Those sorts of things. So there's plenty of rules, units and townhouses up to 2 million, over 2 million, it's 70%, So there's things we need to understand. But what's the interesting thing up here, if we all have a look, right? If we all have a look at the thing called the assessment rate, folks, all right? Now, debt to income ratio, 5.26, the product rate, 4.7, okay? And then over here, they're actually analyzing your ability to afford this mortgage at 7.74, right? So that, for many of us, for all of us right now, that's the thing that has been sort of locking our equity up, right? So let's go. Tommy wants to buy, something. 586 is not enough. He's looking at something for 650. What can he do? Well, he can put another $50,000 of cash in. He doesn't have it. Or what's it going to take for him right now to get his income up, and how much income up to get him to 650 from 580? Tell me in the chat. If you're still with me, what do you think? We'll just do this and then I'll finish up. I'm a couple of minutes over today. How much does he need to earn more to get that extra bit of buying power when it comes to his, let's say, the 650 goal for investing? How much? Let's do this. Let's go 120. All right. Let's see what happens. Boom, baby. Look at that. Right? It doesn't have to be much, right? And then, Virgin drops down and then Eubank takes over. Now, it doesn't mean that he's going to qualify completely with Eubank, right? So even 110, right? Let's have a look at this. Let's go 650. There you go. So, yep, you're pretty close, Tim. It was about 15K. Now, that's not a lot. That's not a lot in the world of employment and career progression and so on, folks. So, really, let's think about it, in basic terms, and this is just a quick overview here. A $10,000 to $20,000 pay rise will unlock, that next level of $50,000 to $100,000 worth of borrowing, okay? Also, that could unlock the ability for you to unlock some equity to do some other stuff. So, remember, you should always be checking in on those things and having a bit of a plan with your coach, your team, when it comes to, unlocking things. And yeah, absolutely, Lauren. It's a brilliant calculator. It's part of all of the coaching and mentoring, your coaching and mentoring team's tools now. So, your 6-star team, we want your team to be the best in the market, unlocking awesome things for you to make sure, you can get, the most accurate info. So as a way we go. So there you go. Hopefully, that was useful, and we might do a bit of a deeper dive maybe over the coming weeks into, servicing. What does it take and those sorts of things. But there you go. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. I'm a few minutes over. Thanks for hanging around. Great to see all of you. Join me tomorrow for another one. As always, we kick off at about 8:10 on a weekday, and be awesome to see you again tomorrow. And as always, if you've got something that you think it'd be great to talk about, let me know. Put it in the chat. Give me some feedback. Great to